All right, we are live. I hope. Shaun here, Shaun Task YYC. Good to be here on YouTube. Okay, back with some more live video. Now, the reason I'm doing this live video is I have been totally obsessed lately with this new video I downloaded called Progam. It's made by Danny Beer from Vancouver, and well, Danny Beer is from actually the East Coast, but he lives now on the west coast of Canada in Vancouver. And Andrew Nemirovsky, who's from Chicago. They got together kind of on the east side of Canada, the west side of Canada, the United States, in Vancouver, in Victoria, in Seattle, I think, kind of in that area there, and put together this amazing video. It's hard for me to truly describe what's going on in this video because the skating is top notch. It's very creative, very different. Aggressive lean, but lots to unravel there. So why don't we just get right into it? Oh, by the way, to download Progam, you can go to program.bigcartel.com and the link is in the description. I highly recommend downloading that video. And now I'm going to do my best to try and convince you to buy it. Okay, so the video, actually, before we get into the breakdown, let's bring up the web browser. Great. Okay, so program.bigcartel.com. Here's the site you would go to if you chose to buy it. So right away, interesting font, strange color, not a strange color, but it's looking a little different. Very interesting logo design here with this cascading set of stairs. Okay, not quite sure to make of it. Sponsors, Abibus, Shop Task, Par, Andrew Bering Shield. Inside jokes there, I presume. Obviously, I recognize the Shop Task, but nothing else. We scroll down. They've got the video you can download. And then, unfortunately, the other products are sold out, but they're also advertising some dumbbells, some shaker bottles for your protein shakes, and an Abibus bed. I don't know. I don't quite get it. All right, let's bring it back here. Where was I? And I'm back. Okay. So let's go through in depth, kind of section by section, this entire video. First of all, the running time's 19 minutes, just under 20 minutes. Lots of great skating by lots of different guys. Andrew Nemirovsky. We had Stu Brady, Colin Brady, Brian Long, Taylor Ritchie, Ben Stiller. Not the Ben Stiller, but Ben Stiller nonetheless. Who else do we have? John Vasoli had a really nice section in there. Who am I forgetting? Josh Silver, Lewis Packman, Danny Beer. So lots of really good skaters in there. There's not much of an intro to speak of. The video opens up with a forward or an upward facing camera shot with Nemo looking down at the camera, circling around, kind of creating an ominous feel. Really quick, those sponsors logos flash on the screen for a millisecond, and then it's right into Nemo's section. Nemo's section, it's really good. A lot of really cool stuff. And if you've seen some of my other videos, specifically my breakdowns on jumping, I talk about the heel pop and the stomp landing. And Nemo uses that heel pop a lot, and it makes his skating look really cool. So he's doing a lot of moves where he's pushing through his heels and getting his feet out in front of him. Sometimes both feet into what we would call like a rocket position. Sometimes just one foot into like a fly fish. And I have some pictures that I'm going to show you after that'll better describe this. But overall, tons of power, athletic, always very smooth, super creative. He's also skating on a really old pair of skates, Solomon STIs, I believe, the Solomon Street International, which is one of my favorite skates of all time. And they're becoming more in vogue. You see lots of skaters, you know, going on eBay and buying these old Solomon skates because they're just that good. Fantastic skates. Nemo's riding those ones. They look really good. One trick that really stood out to me, there was quite a few, but one power move is where he does a shoot the duck. He rolls, he drops off a ledge in the shoot duck position, and then lands on that same foot in the same shoot the duck. So he's taking a drop and then landing it on one foot while maintaining a grip on the other foot with his foot sticking right out in front of him. Really cool. Tons of power, tons of style. Very impressive. Section 2 was Stu Brady. And Stu is one of the original wizards. So, you know, if you're into the 3 turns, the gazelles and the lions and all of these fun moves, stuff that I've been doing a lot of lately, and you've seen maybe Wizard of Wall Street and you've seen Leon doing some of these things, Stu is actually one of the original wizards. And a lot of what I've kind of adapted into my skating was innovated by Stu. Lately, though, he hasn't been skating on the wizard skates. He's been on follows, skating more aggressively, but using a lot of those 3 turns and that sort of thing in his aggressive skating. So overall, I want to say that the thing that impressed me most about Stu was the precision on his landings. Every landing was stomped and every landing sounded perfectly solid. It really stands out. If you go back and watch the video and you just listen to the sound of his landings, it's impressive. It's really cool. Lots of straight airs, half cabs, 180s, wall rides, really cool stuff. The music was kind of a nice, slow, ambient, fit his style completely. One thing that really stood out to me too was this one line where there's a nice drop, a fairly sizable drop. So when you're taking these big drops, the landing becomes more difficult. But he stomps the landing perfectly. Does a nice Mizzou grind, lands backwards, and then whips around. Couldn't call it a 3-turn because he's not going edge to edge. He's going corresponding edges backwards to center edges going forwards. But the way he whipped it around is just so cool. It's something I'm going to have to try and work on. Section 3 was John Vasoli. Not Vasoi. Vasoi, I believe. There's no L in there. John Vasoi. And his section was really fun to watch because the whole time he has a big giant smile on his face, a huge grin. It just looks like he's having fun. His section starts off with some huge transfers in this underbridge skate park. Really crazy wall ride transfer. And I have a picture of that I'm going to show you. This section really got me pumped up. Stu and Nemo before, their sections were amazing. And I was more in awe. Like, what just happened? I'm confused. Like, I can't even comprehend half the skating in those sections. John's skating is much more straightforward. He's going big and fast and jumping from here to here with a huge smile on his face the whole time. It was really cool. Yes, those wall ride, yeah, lots of good stuff there. His section fades into Brian Long. Brian Long is the manager of the shop in Seattle. And Brian is one of those skaters that just oozes style. I remember a former employee at our Vancouver shop. He was a young Grom coming up in the skate game. We called him Smartin, and Smartin asked me one day, why does Brian look so good when he's skating? He's like, he doesn't even have to be doing anything. He's just skating along and he looks good. And Brian just has confident, smooth style. And it just looks good. His tricks are simplified, which I really appreciated in his skating. He wasn't, grabbing his feet while he was grinding in a weird way or yucking it up for the camera at all. No extra bells or whistles, just solid, simple tricks, leaving you satisfied and never wishing for more. You're wanting more because you're enjoying it, but he's never like half doing a trick. Everything is solid and precise, grinds right off the ends. Super solid, really good. So props to Brian. I love watching him skate. One thing I got to mention, one of my favorite tricks in the entire video was Brian doing a frontside to frontside torque. And I'm going to bring the video screen up here so I can see myself for a second. Okay. So I've got this pair of skates. I'm going to try and describe the grind that he did. So his feet are on the rail and he's sliding on his inside edges. So his legs are kind of tipped like this. And as he's sliding this way, he's not changing his foot position, but his body position is changing, where he's tipping his front foot to the outside edge and bringing this foot off the rail. So now he's just sliding on this foot here in that position. So it looks really cool when he goes 2 foot, leans it into the 1 foot, and then comes right off the end. And I don't know why, I just love that trick. I thought it was fantastic. Okay, back to my notes here. The next section was a montage with Colin Brady, Josh Silver, Taylor Ritchie, Ben Stiller, and Louis Packman. Colin had some really nice moves. It was cool to see him skating on that 5-wheeled wizard frame. I think it was the PR90, I believe, so the Progressive Rocker 5 90-wheeled frame. Really cool. But the hero of this montage section had to be Josh Silver. Some crazy stuff. He one thing I'll try and describe is he's standing on top of a pillar. He jumps off this pillar onto the edge of a fountain. So this is a big water fountain. And the edge of the fountain that he's rolling on, the water is just like cascading, rolling over this ledge. So he drops into the water, rolling through the water on this ledge, off of this cascading water ledge, up onto another pillar, off there, down another ledge, rolls down, and then stops the landing at the bottom. Excuse me. Really cool. That was amazing. Had some other crazy lines. The real showstopper, though, was this 540 that he did. It's on a bank. So he's going up the ramp one way and then down the bank that goes 90 degrees from that launch. As he's going up the bank, he's already holding his foot. So his feet are rolling on the ground. Both feet are on the ground, but he's bent over, holding his foot as he's rolling up the ramp. He takes off the ramp, still holding that foot, holds that foot all the way through a really nice 540-degree rotation, and then releases his grab just for the landing. And it was so smooth, so stylish. I'd never seen that done before. It just absolutely blew my mind. Quickly mentioned Ben Stiller had a really nice torque sole in there. Taylor Ritchie had a really nice double toe roll. That was cool. Louis Packman had a nice little wizard line. Okay, and now to the final section, Danny Beer. And this section is almost impossible to describe. I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to go shot by shot by shot by shot by shot. I'm going to try and break it down, and a lot of it probably won't make any sense. I'm going to try my best to describe it, but the best thing you can do, honestly, is go to program.bigcartel.com and download the video. It's worth the $10 just for this section. To me, Danny Beer is Skater of the Year. When you see this section, anything he did in this video, well, not anything, but most of what he'd done, I don't think has ever been done before. And I'm not sure too many people could do it, probably only Danny. But anyways, section opens up. Danny Beer is standing, lands on the fence. He's wearing a DMX shirt, bright blue pants, bright blue headphones that match his pants. And he's swinging his leg in front of him and out to the side in kind of a groin hip flexor stretch. It's a really good stretch, but the extension he's getting, like, Danny puts full power into everything, including his stretches, and his legs are just flying way up to the side. There's a great photo of it on his Instagram, so definitely check that out. So kind of this crazy, weird start to the section. The next shot, he's holding a frying pan, a dirty frying pan. There's three raw eggs in the frying pan. You can see flecks of grease and whatever coming off the frying pan. And then he proceeds just to like drink back these 3 raw eggs out of this dirty frying pan. And then he looks strangely into the camera and holds up 3 fingers like, I just ate 3 raw eggs. So weird. Next shot. He's on the top of an escalator. The escalator's going up. He comes full speed and bashes down this upward going escalator. Finishes the stair ride, looks at the camera like a psycho. So strange. Now, next shot, he's on top of a giant lemon. A giant lemon. How did he even get on top of this lemon? But this is a big lemonade stand shaped like a lemon, the size of like a big old van. He's on top of it. He spins around twice on top of the lemon. And keep in mind, the lemon's not flat. It's round the whole way, so there's not much to actually balance on. But he spins around. Now he's facing down kind of the nipple of the lemon. So imagine a lemon on its side, and it's got like the little nub sticking out the side. And he's about to kind of roll down and launch off this nub, but he does a fancy little shifty med spin and then drops in, rolls off, lands it nicely. Crazy. It looked really cool, this giant lemon out of nowhere. Next trick, he's heel shuffling across some bricks, bashes down a curb. Then, going fast, I don't know how to describe this, he mohawk slides into a curb. So what I mean by that is Okay, bring these skates up so I can try and describe. So he's skating forwards, mohawk, kind of heel to heel, and then he's leaning way far back, like he's going to fall back, and his feet slide right into a curb. When he hits the curb, he's leaning so far back, the momentum brings him back up into a balanced position. He pushes off the curb, does a big fancy jump, boom, stomps the jump, freezes his body like this, and gives like, I'm a crazy dinosaur look right onto his, right into the camera, like, ah. Okay, so strange. Where were we? Just warming up, to be honest. Next shot, he's sprinting full speed, huge half cab, probably clears 20 feet. Crazy. Now there's a fall montage of him getting caught up in the bench. His foot gets caught underneath the bench and he splats down. His foot gets caught on the handrest. Boom, takes all these awkward falls. And then rewind a little bit. Now he lands the trick. What he's doing is going foot to foot. Going foot to foot. Oh, can I pause that? He's going foot to foot, one foot then the other, and he's spinning around as he's doing. So he's going left foot, 180 right foot, 180 left foot, right foot, jumps off 360. Really cool. And this all happens in like less than a second. It's like bam, 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 360, bam. Cool. And it's one of these things like, why would you even do this? It's hard, it's difficult, but when he puts it all together, it's just a cool package and the power comes through. It's really neat. Next, he does a topsoil on a rail right into a wall. Boom! Smashes into the wall, pushes himself off the wall, jumps off. He's going backwards, does a Luke hang, kicks his foot out, lands it. Next, he's back in his DMX outfit. This is probably one of the most stylish tricks in the video, and I have a picture that I'll show you afterwards. So he does a really overcommitted backside backslide. So he's sliding on one foot on the outside edge, leaning way too far back to actually balance this trick. But as he's sliding, he jams into a wall, boom. When he hits the wall, that brings his balance back. He does a really nice counter rotation to hop off that 1 foot, roll down this bank that's right at the end of the ledge. And then when he lands it, he does a strange thing where he reaches his hands between his legs and then wraps his hands behind his ankles. Okay, he does it. What's next? Now, this might be the craziest trick. Now, to kind of show you later on, I have a picture of myself doing something similar, nowhere near as crazy. But for this trick, it's a zero spin. So he's going backwards, and then he jumps and lands backwards. So he's not spinning at all. It's just backwards to backwards over a set of stairs. But as he's clearing the set of stairs, he kicks his feet out in front of him. So both feet horizontal in front of him as he's going backwards. Really cool. Super hard thing to do, and he does it. It's amazing. Next trick, maybe even crazier than the last one. He's on top of a giant letter U, and this is at the University of British Columbia. So this big sign spelling out UBC, and the U is probably 10 feet high, and he's on top of this letter U. Now he jumps into the middle of the letter U, and he manages to kind of land this by pushing his feet off 1 foot to the one side of the U, 1 foot to the other side of the U, and then sliding down into the bottom of the curved part of the U. So he jumps, boom, feet against the wall, slides down, manages to land in the bottom of the U, hops out. Crazy. Yeah, insane. Nice little line with a cool true spin dark side acid 540 off. That was really cool. The next line, again, really cool. He does a big floaty pencil 180, lands backwards. While he's going backwards, he does a series of backwards pistol squats with perfect technique. You know, the CrossFit champion of the world couldn't do pistol squats this good. Boom, 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 pistol squat. Turns around forward. There's a set of stairs in front of him. Instead of just jumping or rolling down the stairs, inches, exaggerating, a foot before the stairs, say, he does like a pigeon toe slide. There's not even a name for this, but I'll try and describe it. I'll bring this video back. Okay. So what I mean by this pigeon toe slide is toes are pointed in. So he's coming towards the set of stairs and then scraping along kind of this part of his boots. So toes in, to his feet and then down the stairs. And as he's going down the stairs, he rolls down it with his left foot, kicks his right foot out in front of him. So 1 foot stair bash from this crazy pigeon toe. I'm getting tired just talking about this. Okay. Fakie 3 double toe back. Oh, and this is a really cool transition. It's a metal table. And what he does is a full cab, so a backwards 360 to a double toe roll. So he's going backwards, rolling on his toes, but essentially like gongs off this metal table, and it makes a very satisfying gong sound. And they use this gong sound to transition to the next song. And his section continues with a huge savannah. And savannah is where you're grinding with your legs crossed on the outside edges. And the foot that's in front, that's leading you away, that foot is crossed behind the other foot. And it is this big, long savannah on this drop rail, big gap off the end, really cool. Lands backwards. There's some really nice backwards crossovers to a nice mohawk transition. Good to see some simple skating mixed in there. Another little line on some curbs, which was really cool. The next scene, it was strange because when I first saw it, it looked like I thought it was Nemo. I thought it was Andrew Nemorowski, but it was Danny. Yeah, like just maybe they've been hanging out a lot lately, and they're starting to look the same. But I will say this: when I did meet Nemo a few years ago, hanging out with him, he's one of those guys that when you're hanging out with him, he's cool, he's composed, artistic, expressive, really cool guy, great at skating, and you know, you kind of want to start to be like Nemo. You know what I mean? It would happen to me too. If we're hanging out a bunch, I'd be like, oh, you know what? I like those pants. I'm going to get some pants like Nemo. So maybe something like this is happening a little bit. Anyways, Danny looking a lot like Nemo, blasting super hard at these sculptures. And these are some city sculptures. They're essentially like big cones on the ground. Look like 2 mountains, so to speak. And he blasts into these giant things, rolls right through, up and over the mountains and across the other side. Looked really cool. And I have a screen grab of that we'll check out later too. So you get a better picture of that. Next, okay, there's this ledge. And the city had put some skate stoppers on there. So imagine a ledge that you'd be grinding on, and then there's like these little angle iron pieces screwed into the ledge. So no, you can no longer slide across it because you get caught on these things. Well, what Danny does is he runs over each one of them, stalling and grinding positions as he goes. So he's going 1 foot, the other foot, super fast, bam, 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 with full speed, super dangerous and crazy. He does it one way, he turns around, comes straight back, does it again, bam, 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 bam. Next shot, his hair's brushed. He's got something of a mustache growing. He's wearing a Labatt Blue jacket, which is a beer company here in Canada, looking very Canadian, I might add. He's charging along these sketchy bricks. He does a thread the needle disaster backside fast slide. And I have a picture of this to better describe, but the idea is he's grabbing his opposite foot with his opposite hand. So I can't remember which foot is which, but say he's grabbing his right foot with his left hand in front of his left. He jumps and he brings his left foot through, pardon me, through his the little hole created by his hand and his foot. Excuse me. Oh my gosh. And then he, oh my gosh. Too much talking. And then, wow. So rude. My apologies. So he does this maneuver. Yeah, we'll look at the photo. I'll explain better. And that to me might have been the biggest trick of the entire video. Okay, so where were we? A few more tricks after that. He does an X grind to far side negative X down this rail, which is really cool. He eats some pasta, does the crazy pigeon toe wall slide. So imagine a wall ride. You're skating, there's a set of stairs in front of you. There's a wall beside the set of stairs. You're going to jump and you're going to put your wheels on the wall and you're going to kind of do a wall ride and then land at the bottom of the stairs. Well, Danny doesn't put his wheels on there. He puts the sides of his boots, toes pointed in, and slides his boots across the wall and then lands backwards. He clears the stairs by a mile. He's going so fast. I don't even know how you would attempt such a trick, or what would make you think of trying such a thing. It's insane. You have to watch it to believe it. It's insane. And then the last trick, he's on top of a big concrete wall doing like a backwards bridge like this. And then he explodes out of the bridge kind of onto his butt. So whips up, sticks his feet out in front. His feet now go over the edge of this wall. And the wall has a steep angle down. And so his feet are hanging over. And then he sits up quickly, gets his feet onto the steep wall and kind of rolls in off this wall. Stomps the landing. Looks amazing. The Progam logo fades in. And then they go into the music credits and some nice B-roll footage. What happened in the B-roll? It was lots of good stuff. Oh, Ben Stiller took just an epic wipeout in the B-roll. He's grinding a rail. He slips out and splats at the bottom, and you could tell he was okay. So you can chuckle a little bit at that one. So Progam, wow, what an amazing video. Let's look at some of those pictures that I was teasing before, and I can show you a little bit of what's going on in this video. Okay. So this is Andrew Nemirovsky from that very first section. And here he's in the middle of a beautiful fly fish where his left leg is extended out. He's grabbing that left leg with his left hand. His right foot is tucked underneath him nicely. What was really cool was how he got this air. So you can see below him that there's this bank and this ledge. So he rolls up the bank, and then you can see the ledge meets the bank, and the ledge is vertical. So going up the ledge and then vertically up, so up the bank and then vertically up the ledge, and a move like that would come from a heel pop. So basically he heel pops off this ledge into this big, huge floaty air. Super impressive. Here he is going off this spine ramp. So the ramp below him is a spine. So it's like 2 quarter pipes meeting together. He rolls up the spine, pushes through his heels, gets both feet out in front of him. And where I pause this here, he's actually still going up. So he's by no means at the height of his jump. He's still traveling up. And you see that his body is now rotating. So what he does here is he gets both feet out in front of him as he's rotating his upper body to, which direction is that? That's to his right. He then counter rotates, so he turns his body to the left as his feet come around to the right, and then he lands backwards into the ramp. So it's a really cool showcase of some strong counter rotation from getting his feet out in front and then winding, counter rotating, boom, and getting his feet back underneath him. Really impressive. Here we have Stu. And this is Stu just moments before one of his beautiful landings. So what I'm looking at here is you'll notice as he lands, his heels are landing slightly first. And that's one of the important pieces to that stomp landing. So if you watch the video Progam and you see Stu and you're like, wow, his landings are perfect. How do I do it? Go back on the Shop Task YouTube and I break down these stomp landings so you can land just like Stu here. And here's John Vasoli. Oh, I always put an L in his name, John Vasoi. And John Vasoi here is transferring. So he's in the middle of a wall ride. So if you're looking at where he is, the ramp to his left that goes straight up into that wall is where he starts. So he comes up there, he launches himself. At this point, he's kind of turned 90 degrees into the wall ride. He continues that same direction around and then lands in that ramp that's kind of down below him. And as he does that, he has to turn kind of another 180 degrees. So really cool where he launches around in kind of a 270, but this big wall ride in the middle. Super cool. And what do we got here? Oh, check out this smile. So I mentioned that John Vasoi has just this beautiful smile, this big grin the whole time that he's skating. And it just puts a smile on your face. So I had to freeze this here so you can look. He's about to catch some huge air, do a big crazy transfer, but he definitely has time to smile. Love it. This is Josh. This here is Josh Silver. And this is the approach to the 540 that I was trying to describe. So you can see he's bent over, his right hand is grabbing onto his right foot, and then he's going to be spinning to his left 540 degrees. I guess minus 90, I guess it would be 450 degrees. But the really impressive thing about this is it's so awkward to take off of a ramp, hunched over like this, holding your foot. But what it did is this position here kind of kicked his body into a slightly sideways rotation, what you would call kind of like a bio 540. And then because he's hanging on to that foot so solidly, as he's rotating, the whole thing comes together just beautifully. So imagine holding your foot like this, rolling up a ramp, and still having the wherewithal to land a beautiful 540. Danny Beer, skater of the year. So here's Danny Beer with that way overcommitted backside backslide. So the reason he's able to balance this position is, first of all, he has great flexibility and balance and all those good things. But he slides and then bashes into that curb that's kind of hiding his foot. And then when he hits that curb, that kind of kicks him forward, allows him to balance. And then from here, he hops off that one foot down this bank, rolls away, and then there's this strange thing where he reaches his hands between his legs and then around his ankles. Here are those big mountains I was talking about. So right here, Danny is just blasting full speed, and he's going to go kind of up and over between those mountains. But I froze it here because when I was looking at this and slowing it down, I saw his legs just do this strange thing. Look at how defined his calf muscles are here. Wow. So strange. That's one thing I got to say about skating. Awesome for your calf muscles. Here's in the middle of that trick I was trying to describe when I started having that coughing fit. But the idea here is he's threading the needle. So he's got his right hand grabbing his left foot, creating that hole, and then he's bringing his right foot through that hole, maintaining that grab, getting his foot out in front of him, and then he ends up doing like a little grind at the very end of this rail over here. Absolutely insane. Now here's a shot of me. So in this shot, I roll backwards on the ledge, and then I jump and land going backwards. So no spinning, just backwards to backwards. And what I'm doing here is I'm trying to kind of like pop off my heels and get my feet out in front of me as I'm going backwards. So kind of a strange thing to do. This is what Danny Beer does, except for getting his feet perfectly out horizontal. And instead of just jumping off a little ledge, he's jumping over a huge 11 stair gap. Wowzers. Amazing. Hopefully that painted a better picture of what I was trying to describe there. So check it out. Program.bigcartel.com. All right, my new setup. Nothing too radically different. Let's check it out. Anyone want to guess? Yes. NR110. So I've graduated from the 100s to the 110s. I'm on some real big boys now. Here's my 100 millimeter frame. Excellent. And the 110s. Now, side by side, yeah, the 110s definitely look a lot bigger. Now, getting used to these slowly. I've had them on for a few days now. What I'm noticing, kind of the biggest differences are the extra length to the frame. So my pivot points, my balance is slightly different. So I'm kind of enjoying getting used to that. And anytime you switch up your skates or kind of tinker with your setup, it's always an opportunity to kind of rethink your skating. What I mean by that is, once upon a time, you wanted to learn a trick, so you tried it and tried it and tried it, and you learned how to do it, and you got better at it slowly. But now, when you put on a new setup, maybe you can't do that old trick that you learned a long time ago. So it's a chance to kind of relearn. You can reteach yourself. It's not going to take long. You already know how to do it, but it makes you kind of just be more aware of, okay, right, this is how I have to edge. This is where my weight should be. Not just like, okay, I want to do it. Boom, boom, I did it. You got to think back through it. So it's really good, in my opinion, for your brain. It just keeps your head kind of in the skating thing, and you're learning more of those details. And I'll definitely keep you updated on how I'm making those skates. But for now, so far, so good. Oh, the wheels are interesting. So we'll talk about those real quick. These are the Dustin Rubeski 110s, 88A. I don't normally ride like an 88A wheel. It's just too hard for me. These wheels definitely feel hard, but the urethane is really nice. It's got great grip. It's smooth. They're good for sliding, but they have grip at the same time, so that's always nice. And definitely really fast. Definitely enjoying these. Gonna get more and more used to them, and then we'll see. Maybe I can go out and bust out some crazy street skating one of these days once the snow melts a little bit. It's kind of ugly outside at the moment. All right, okay, so let's hop on over to the YouTube and see if there's any questions, if there's anyone to chat with on the YouTube. I hope this is it. Hey, 12 people are watching. Nice. Hola from Portugal. Argentina. What up, ATL? Sergio, you're the man. Yeah, definitely buy this video. It's worth the $10. I highly recommend it. We definitely need 360 and 540 tutorials. Yeah, Sergio. I definitely want to do something on 360s and 540s, and I've been thinking about it for a really long time, and I'm not procrastinating, but so I just have to have my thoughts straight before I present. I just find, like, with the 360, what's the point of me just saying, like, hey guys, here's how you do a 360. Jump, spin 160 degree, you know, spin around a full rotation and then land it. It's like, okay, well, I knew that much. I didn't really need you to tell me that. So I want to have in-depth breakdown of how we can learn it, how we can land it, and hopefully soon I'll have something to share. Oh yeah, happy Thanksgiving to all our friends in America. We had our Thanksgiving at the beginning of October here in Canada. It was excellent. Ooh, any ideas for ankle injury? Well, number one is rest. I've had a series of ankle injuries where I rushed back into skating and then I ended up hurting it even worse. It's very tempting to get back out on the skates, but if you can give it, you know, if it's something serious, give it a 6-week break, I would go for it. When you're rehabbing that ankle injury, definitely lots of stability stuff. So balancing on those, like those round, what are they called? Bosu ball? I think it's a Bosu ball, if that makes sense. It's flat on top, round on the bottom, and you can kind of balance with 2 feet on there and get some flexibility back in your ankle. Just laying back with your feet up in the air and writing the alphabet with your foot, going A, B, C, D, and kind of going through these motions is really good for rehabbing your ankles. What else do we got? Yeah, those would be my ideas. Rest, number one, and then focusing on the rehab and using, you know, things like Bosu balls and working on getting that range of movement. But definitely try not to rush back into it. That's the one thing I can say. All right, word up from the UK. Oh, back from debt practice, from derby practice. Killer. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of roller derby. I haven't been to that many matches, but the matches that I've been to are so exciting. It's just a fun event to be at. And the people that are competing in the derby are always just the coolest characters. I mean, there's people from all walks of life, but the funny name that they had, it was really cool. I don't know, the one match that I saw most recently, the names were all modeled after like serial killers. So there was one lady, I think it was like Jesse Dahmer. So like Jeffrey Dahmer, but Jesse Dahmer, things like this. I don't know. I'm a big fan of roller derby. So cool. Miss anything else in here? Man, the South American people are showing up big time. I love it. What do we got? We got Chile, Brazil, Argentina, Panama. I'm not sure if Panama is necessarily South America. Central America, I suppose. Nice. All right, folks. Well, we'll hang out here for just another minute. So if you have any questions, hit me up. Coming up soon, I'm going to be skating around lots in gymnasiums, not so much outside. So I'm going to be doing a lot more tutorial videos. So if you have any requests for things that you would like to learn, throw them at me, and hopefully I can do something to, Singapore represent. So hopefully I can do something to kind of help you along that process of something you're trying to learn. The Wizard 90, yes, I've skated the Wizard 90, and I like it. The Wizard 90 definitely is the most flowy. It feels really smooth. Transitioning, it definitely feels a bit more rockered, say, than 100 and the 110s. So it maneuvers a lot more. Certainly if you have a smaller foot, the 90 is a really good option. The rocker is the same. It's not the same as the 100. How do I describe this? So if I grab my 100 frame, so it's built in the same way, as in the angle that it tips down is the same angle. The front and the back wheel are 1 millimeter up from the middle tube, which is the same on the 100 as it is on the 90. But because it's shorter, that rocker feels a slightly bit more dramatic. So it definitely maneuvers a lot more. My favorite, and before the Wizard frame was even around, my favorite was the 100. So I'm definitely partial to the 100. And for me, the length just feels really natural. It's a good length for my size of foot and my type of skating. But the 90, definitely if you have a shorter foot, is a great choice. If you're looking for something a bit more maneuverable, it's a great choice. Yeah, and I don't know if I mentioned this. Gabe, my right-hand man here at the shop, his opinion by far is that the 90 is the best. He's skated the 100s, he's skated a lot on the 110s, but he really likes the 90s. All right, folks, we've been giving her hard for 40 minutes here, so time to say goodbye. Namaste. Thank you so much for all the support. It's really cool to hop on here and see that people are watching. So thanks again, and stay tuned. Lots more fun tutorial videos coming soon. How do I stop it? There we go. Namaste.